signal memo, but alas, we're here. Greetings and salutations. What a wonderful time it is to be an NFL fan, particularly the last couple of days. We got a lot to get into from this week. Before I do that, though, please drop a subscribe, drop a like, share with your friends, engage in the comment section. That's always good for the good old algorithm signals when people are engaging with the comments in there. But what a game that we just saw. The Rams punched their ticket to the NFC Championship game 20-17. Mevis, the thicker kicker, who was not on the team until week 10 of this year. Let me zoom in a tiny bit, not too close and personal, but a little bit more than I am right now. Mevis was not on the team before week 10, and he's the one who punches their ticket. We got to talk about the Patriots, and does Houston have a CJ Stroud problem? We get to talk about the Broncos, Jarrett Stidham. He gets his opportunity to maybe make himself some money after this year. The Patriots, is this another version of the old dynasty? I see a lot of similarities I want to talk about. And then a trend that all four of these teams have in common. But before we get into any of that, we kind of got to start with what we just saw, which is absolutely insane. I don't even know where to start. I haven't really even looked at much or allowed myself to process much. But that fourth down play where Caleb Williams takes a snap, he's pressured from both sides. He can do nothing but run straight backward. And then he turns his hips and just fires a ball to the left corner of the end zone. And you see Cole Kmet there with no one close to him. It just seemed like it was destined to happen again and again and again, because that's what's happened all year long. You think the Bears are overachieving. This is a good story. They're going to lose, and then all of a sudden they're not going to lose because Caleb Williams pulls something out of you-know-what. That's what he did against the Packers on that 4th and 8, rolling to his left, over 3 defenders to Rome Odunze. Tonight, similar story, right? Nothing there, dropping back. Obviously, people in the stadium might have been able to see Cole Kmet breaking free a little bit there toward the end. Us, as we were watching the TV, were like, is he going to get sacked for a 25-yard loss here? No, that's not what happened. He's actually going to tie the game. I'm in a group chat with some buddies. Some of my friends speculated maybe that Ben Johnson would go for the win there, going for 2. I'm not surprised he didn't. I wonder in hindsight if he were to be asked that in the post-game press conference, which I'm sure he will, would he have considered that? I'm not sure. It's impossible to tell. But you go to overtime, and this is where I was I have a few things here. First off, I get the decision to kick first when it's a low-scoring game, but I don't know if there's many scenarios at all that I wouldn't be receiving the kickoff first. And the reason for that being, if I kick off, yes, that means when I get the ball back, I know exactly what I need. Like if they score 3, I know I need 3 to tie, and I have 4 downs to do it. If they score 7, I know I have 4 downs to score 7, and if I want to take the game, I can go for 2. But if they score, if I kick off and they score and I match that, they get the ball back, and I have no control over what happens after that. If they kick a field goal for the win, they can do that. It's not like college where we both get a chance over and over again. So the decision to kick was likely based on how the defense was playing. At the time, I think Matt Stafford was 17 of 36 passing. Didn't have a good day on the stat sheet. That doesn't matter. And then when the Rams get the ball, they go run, run, run. And I get that's easy to do when on the first time you run it, you get 7 yards. And the second time you get within 1 yard of a first down. Totally get that. But to take the ball out of the hands of your MVP, I can't really get with that. Now, it ended up paying off. The guy who got the interception for them, Cam Curl, is actually a 7th-round pick. He's been in the league 5 or 6 years now. He's from Muskogee, Oklahoma, actually. Oklahoma represent. That was a huge play. And then the rest is history. McVay doesn't really get too cute with it. He puts the ball in Stafford's hands. That last drive, let's go down to that last drive of the game. 10 plays, 54 yards. He got the ball in the hands of Puka Nacua for 4 yards. Parkinson for 15. Matt Stafford, the incredible pass and catch to Devontae Adams for 12. Blake Corum, 4-yard run. Puka Nacua, 16 yards. Sprinkled in a few runs here and there, but then ended with 2 straight passes. 2 deep shots to the tight ends. And then Harrison Mevis, the thicker kicker of all people, winds up being the hero and pushes the Rams to the championship game. And I do have some thoughts on that championship game, but before we get to that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Bears. And I think I said this about the 49ers yesterday. When the 49ers lost that game, despite how big of a blowout that was a game where they can lose that and kind of keep their heads high. I think the Bears can say the same thing. Obviously, they would have liked to win this one. Losing it in the fashion that they did lose it sucks. But they were a team that Vegas had pegged as an 8.5 win team to start the year. Like when you're able to choose over under how many wins, the Bears number was 8.5. They won 11 in the regular season, won the division, got the 2 seed, won a playoff game, and then took the MVP and at one point this year, the Super Bowl favorite LA Rams to overtime. Like for me, entering this season with Ben Johnson's first year, Caleb Williams' second year in the league, my whole thing with the Bears was a good year for them means they looked competitive. They won 7+ games, and you could go into year 3 with Caleb Williams feeling confident that he's your guy for the foreseeable future. They didn't only check those boxes, but they blew those out of the water. Again, 12 wins if you include the playoff game. They won the division. They were the 2 seed. Their division, by the way, is one of the best in football. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, every team in that division had a winning record. Let's fact check myself here. Yes, every single team in the NFC North had a winning record this year. Caleb Williams had he's officially, we can speak about him like a guy where, yeah, his floor might be a little shaky and he might have moments where he leaves some stuff to be desired. But when he's at his best, when he's wheeling and dealing and moving around in the pocket and playmaking, he can do some things that you can count on one hand the rest of the league, like guys who can do that. I didn't have the most sufficient way to say that, but you get what I'm getting at. Good run game. Clearly, the investment in the line paid off. Ben Johnson wants to run the ball. They got a bunch of willing pass catchers, bunch of playmakers. Like, shoot, you just saw Cole Kmet make the game-winning grab. So they have 2 great tight ends. I mean, I won't call Kmet great, but 2 good tight ends. They got 2 strong backs. DJ Moore, Luther Burden, Roma Dunze, like Olamide Zacchaeus, or was it Olamide? Zacchaeus is a good player. They made a lot of use out of him. Bears, like a lot of times when you lose a game, like the Bills are not holding their heads high after that loss yesterday. It's kind of tough for the Texans to hold their head high after what happened earlier this morning. The Bears can hold their heads high, like knowing what they did this season. Looking forward to the NFC Championship game, I have a question for you. What do you have more faith in, the Seahawks defense or the Rams offense? Because that's what I think it comes down to. I think that I have more faith in the Rams offense than I do the Seahawks offense. And I have more faith in the Seahawks defense than I do the Rams defense. The one thing that makes me think that like I will pick the Rams in this game is because I've seen Matthew Stafford do it on the biggest stage time and time again. And I know he wasn't great today, but the throws he needed to make down the stretch, he did. Sam Darnold, like fair or not, and it's probably not fair and probably not rational. Like he is just going to have to prove that he can do it on this stage. And like for some things, like you just have to go do it for the first time to get everyone off your back. I remember when LeBron won his first championship, and LeBron and Sam Darnold aren't comparable in any way in terms of legacy or anything like that. So don't hear what I'm not saying. I remember when LeBron beat the OKC Thunder for his first title, all the narratives leading up to that championship happening were, well, he can't do it. He hasn't done it. He hasn't done it at the biggest stage. Like, he can't finish the job. And that existed again and again and again until he actually did it. It's what's going to exist for Lamar and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen. We're hearing that a lot right now, right? Like, those are just things that we're going to have to hear over and over and over again until he proves us otherwise. And for me, that's kind of the stance I'm taking there. The other thing I will say is that Seattle has not been tested now in quite some time. I'm not sure what their schedule looked like leading up to the playoffs. I know they had the Niners in week 17 or in week 18, excuse me. Here's the Seahawks schedule down this. This is not a good look at their schedule. I need to look at a better let's go right here. Here's a look at who the Seahawks played down the stretch. They played, in week 16 is when they had that 38-37 win against the Rams, where they came back from 24 down in the second half. Week 17, they played the Panthers, who I know they were competitive in the wild card round. I'm not taking them seriously. Then they played the 49ers, who were a shell of themselves. Then they got a bye, and then they just beat the 49ers again. So they haven't played a legitimate team since December 18th, 1 month ago, when they played the Rams and were down 24. And if Rashid Shaheed doesn't return that punt for a touchdown, the Rams are the team who are hosting this game. Now, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we don't have a Merry Christmas. And it's January 18th. We're not having a Merry Christmas because ifs and buts, in fact, are not candy and nuts. But I'm going to pick the Rams in this game. I'm willing to bet the line is probably going to open around Seattle minus 2.5. That's my guess. I think maybe some people would hammer that. Maybe the public is just really high on Seattle right now, but I'm not so quick to just shove them in to the Super Bowl. I'm just not. Moving on to the Houston New England game. I think Houston officially has a CJ Stroud problem. And this is coming from someone who, I believe CJ Stroud is a quality NFL starter. I really do. I was totally willing to write off his second year where, if you look at his rookie year, 2023, he had 4,100 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. It's easy to forget how good he was. He was 8th in MVP voting as a rookie. Won a playoff game as a rookie. Did a lot of things as a rookie that not a lot of guys have done. Second year came crashing back down to earth, right? 2024, 20 touchdowns, 12 picks. Still won a playoff game, that famous Justin Herbert 4 interception game. And then lost in the second round. I believe it was the Chiefs last year. This year, pretty similar to last year. He improved in a few areas, didn't throw quite as many picks. I know he missed 3 games with a concussion, but 19 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. The biggest spot where you have to kind of pump the brakes and zoom out a little bit is looking at what he did in the playoffs. Coming into this year in the postseason, he had 4 touchdowns and 1 interception. Really, really good. Your first 4 playoff games, you split them, you go 2-2, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. I think any fan of any team would live with that, especially considering the roster CJ Stroud inherited when he was drafted 2nd overall. But this postseason, 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 5 fumbles. I'll say that again. 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 5 fumbles. That's 10 times he either threw the ball to the other team or dropped the ball on the ground, therefore giving the other team a chance to recover said fumble. That is inexplicably bad. I am not Elias Sports Bureau. I have no way of asking ChatGPT or Gemini because I don't trust the accuracy of those answers. I have to correct those all the time. Do not get me started on that. AI is very useful in some things, but has a long, long way to go. I curse if ChatGPT ever becomes sentient, like if it ever becomes like personified in the form of robot, like I will be one of the first to go because I cuss out ChatGPT on the regular. I would be shocked if there is another instance of a player with 5 interceptions and 5 fumbles in 2 playoff games. I was giving Drake Maye some heat too. He had 3 fumbles in the first half, I think, of that game, right? But at least he was making positive plays. Even on CJ Stroud's touchdown pass to Christian Kirk, it was behind him. He had to go up, make a great adjustment, and reach behind as he was going to catch that ball. I do think that CJ Stroud is going to be all right, but it just like he has to put in the work and prove it. And if you're out on CJ Stroud at this point, like I can't even push back or blame you. I can say, yeah, he can make this throw, he can make that throw, and yeah, he's not the fastest, but he's mobile enough. He seems to have a good head on his shoulders. Like I get all that, but when you're the Texans and you have a defense that allowed 17.4 points per game, that's the second best in the league. The only team better was Seattle at 17.2. 277 yards allowed per game. That was first in the league. Top 5 in the league in yards per play allowed. Number 1 in EPA per play allowed. That is not only a Super Bowl caliber defense, that is a defense that like is one of the better defenses we've seen over the past handful of years. You got Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, which is easily the best edge rusher duo in the NFL and one of the best I can remember in quite some time. Their defensive linemen play their asses off. I forget the name of the guy who forced and recovered the fumble today, but he's a stud. To'o's flying around. Shire's flying around. They got Lassiter. They got Derek Stingley. They got Jalen Petrie. Like they have like not just good players, like elite studs on all 3 levels of their defense. And it almost kept them in the game today. Unfortunately, though, when you throw 4 interceptions in the first half and then Woody Marks fumbles the ball in the red zone, like you're just going to put yourself in a really tough spot and you're not going to beat a team with another MVP caliber player and Drake Maye, who we'll talk about in just a second, who he made some great plays today as well. And I don't know exactly. Like I know the Texans have to invest in their line. I believe they have the Commanders' 2nd-round pick in this upcoming draft because of the Laramie Tunsil trade. I think they also have the Commanders' 4th-round pick because of that trade. They're going to really need to invest in their line. They went and drafted the 2 receivers, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Knoll, who I think Higgins is a pretty dang good player. He will be good. He is kind of similar to Nico Collins in that big body jump ball receiver. I would like to see them kind of go get like a savvy, twitchy route runner. Maybe that's how they see Noel. I kind of see, is it Noel? I kind of see Noel as more of like a gadget guy and of these on punt returns. Maybe that's underselling him. But this defense is young. I'm not sure what their contract situations are looking like. Let's go Houston Texans. Let's see how long these defensive players are under contract for, because I think most of these guys are young and a lot of them are on rookie deals. Danielle Hunter, what's his contract looking like? He's still got 1 year left on his contract. It was a 2-year contract that he signed. Nico, he's got 2 years left on his contract. I really wanted to see the stud defenders, though, like Al-Shaair. Yeah, Al-Shaair signed through 2028. He's not going anywhere. Jalen Petrie signed through 2028. He's not going anywhere. Will Anderson, they will back up the Brinks truck for him, and they should. Do they pick up his option, or do they just kind of get a discount by paying him early? That'll be something to watch for. That'll be interesting, but it's tough, man, when you're in a game and you force as many turnovers as the Texans did early. And like you saw them against the Steelers last week, they had 2 defensive touchdowns. All you need your quarterback to do is be average in this postseason. Like CJ Stroud was terrible. Like there's no way around it. That 2023 draft class now is looking really shaky. Bryce Young, 1st overall pick. I know he had some moments against the Rams. I'm still shorting Bryce Young, no pun intended. Seems like a great guy and can have some good moments. I just think his limitations, I wouldn't want to invest my future, my franchise in that player. CJ Stroud, second overall. I'm still a believer. His peaks have been much higher than Bryce Young's peaks. Again, he was eighth in MVP voting his rookie year. I'm not going to shy away from believing in CJ Stroud, but he's going to have to put in the work to prove it. Anthony Richardson, fourth overall pick. Like, is he ever going to be a starter? If I was a betting man, I would probably say no. Will Levis, the 33rd pick in that same draft. Really rough draft class. But on the note of quarterbacks and the teams that are left in this playoff field, I wanted to talk about something that was pretty popular to discuss here the past few years, but I haven't heard many people talking about it recently. And that's all four of the remaining teams, all four NFL teams who are still in it have one thing in common. None of them are paying their quarterback top 15 money. Matthew Stafford is the 16th highest paid quarterback in the league at $40 million. Sam Darnold is the 18th highest at $33.5 million. Drake Maye on a rookie deal, 30th in the league, $9.1 million. And Jarrett Stidham, 37th at $6 million. Bo Nix, 42nd, $4.6 million. Again, none of the teams that are remaining are paying their quarterback top 15 QB money. Why does that matter? When you're not allocating, 30, 40% of your salary cap to one position, that gives you a lot of money to go get sweet players. Look at all four of these teams we have left. New England went and spent a ton of money in free agency, a ton. You saw a lot of that money making plays on Sunday. Denver went and spent a bunch of money. They have sweet players all over the place. Seattle, they have sweet players all over the place. Look at the Rams. They have guys everywhere, offense, defense, line, receivers, backs. I know the backs are like they were able to extend Kyron Williams. I know Corum's on a rookie deal, but it kind of reminds me, and I'll use this to segue into a comparison between this Patriots team and the old Patriots dynasty. I know this team still got to do it like multiple times before those comparisons start to like hold any water. But one of the things that was always talked about with that Patriots team was how Tom Brady was willing to take less money. He was never a top, like, I don't want to say never because I don't have the stats in front of me, but I want to say very seldom in his career was he making top of the market quarterback money. And I think a lot of times he was making significantly less than top of the market quarterback money. And that always allowed Bill or whoever was in charge of transactions to kind of build a sweet team around him and honestly try to maybe cover up some of their weaknesses in drafting, because Bill had his fair share of draft classes that were massive whiffs. And that's not the only comparison I see with this Patriots team and some of those older Patriots teams. They have a stud quarterback, and Drake Maye is not Tom Brady. I'm a big Tom Brady guy. I was a Patriots fan, and then when he went to the Buccaneers, I became a Buccaneers fan. And when Tom Brady retired, I retired from being a fan. Now I just like seeing a good story and a good game. But they both have stud QBs who can win ugly or high-scoring games. Like Drake Maye can air it out and pick up yards on his feet. He can also win ugly games where he has 3 fumbles in the first half. I know the interception was kind of fluky because it was on a Hail Mary, so I'm not really going to rag on him for that. But Drake Maye, through the first 6 quarters of the playoffs, he had multiple fumbles, I believe, against the Chargers and a red zone pick, if I'm not mistaken. So he can win games ugly. He's really good at responding to adversity. Clearly, he's got a lot of upside, great arm. It's when you see a group of veterans rally around a guy who's in his second year like that, clearly they respect the hell out of him. They got a defense with their guys playing their best football at the right time. Coming into this game, it's snowing or wintry mixing, and I'm thinking, okay, if it's going to be a punt fest, I think that this game is going to favor the big play defense. And we just saw the Texans score 2 touchdowns against the Steelers. Like the Texans, by all definitions of the phrase big play defense, like that's what they are. But today, the team with the big play defense, like that was the Patriots. Like multiple defensive backs getting interceptions and forcing fumbles, or when Houston would force fumbles, New England would be the one falling on top of them. They have a defensive-minded head coach, Mike Vrabel, who's clearly one of the best coaches in the league. Like, no doubt about that, just like when they were rolling in their previous version with Bill Belichick. Again, Vrabel's not Belichick. I'm just checking boxes that I see as similarities. You have a group of pass catchers that perform well, but they're not heralded as some impressive group, right? That old Patriots team, you think of Wes Welker or Deion Branch, or in the newer version, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, Chris Hogan, all those guys, right? Shout out Aaron Dobson, who I thought was going to be an absolute stud. He never did anything in any playoff game. Who was the Kembrell? Who was the guy who caught the touchdown in the left corner against the Saints? Kembrell Tompkins. Like, just all these guys who like aren't heralded as some impressive group of players, but like they perform well when they need to. Like Kayshon Boutte, no, he's not on anyone's list of top 30 or top 40 receivers, probably, right? But that one-handed catch he made, that's one of the best catches that we've seen all year, like regular season or playoffs. If you look at Stephon Diggs' catch where he had to go high point it, take a hit, take another hit, come down with it, is Stephon Diggs cracking anyone's top 20 right now? If you say, hey, top 20 receivers, I don't know how many guys who really follow the league are putting Diggs in the top 20. They have a split backfield. They're not rolling out 3-4 backs like they used to back in those days, but they use multiple backs just like those old Patriots teams did. And the one common thread that you can't argue with me on that's not a reach at all is Josh McDaniels. Like, this group has a lot of similarities to that old Patriots group, coming from someone who I didn't like report and cover them, but I followed them pretty dang closely. Like, that was my team growing up as a kid or as a teenager. And another thing about like what they've kind of found defensively is they're starting to send a ton of blitzes and a ton of pressure at opposing quarterbacks. Think about the end of that Chargers game where they're like, shoot, we're going to drop 5 back in coverage and we're just going to rush 6 every single play. We're going to rush 5 or 6 every single play. We think our guys can cover, and we don't think your quarterback can find a guy or escape. Like, you do not leave your DBs in one-on-one situations if you don't think they can hold their own. And that has to do with the skills of your DBs, but also the skills of the opposing receivers. And I'll start on the Chargers a little bit, but the Chargers, the Texans, and the Broncos now, those are 3 teams that do not have any elite wide receiver talent. I love Cortland Sutton. We'll talk about the Broncos in just a sec. The Chargers, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, Keenan Allen. Like, I like all those guys. Those are all good players, but Christian Gonzalez playing his tail off, Carlton Davis playing his tail off, Marcus Jones playing his tail off. Like, I think they found something at the end of that Chargers game when they just started bringing the house every play. They didn't do that every single play today, but when you're going against Jaden Higgins, Christian Kirk, Xavier Hutchinson, who was awful today, Dalton Schultz is out, the backup, Cade Stover, gets hurt. Now you have Harrison Bryant in there. It's like, shoot, like, we can do this against these guys too. Let's just continue to bum rush CJ Stroud. What do you think they're going to do next week against Jarrett Stidham, who we'll talk about in just a second? They have to defend Cortland Sutton, who I love Cortland Sutton. Like, really, really good player. I think he's a 1, but he's on the lower end of 1s. Pat Bryant, if he clears concussion protocol. Marvin Mims. Does Troy Franklin even crack the rotation anymore for the Broncos? I didn't look at the snap counts, but did he even – what did Troy Franklin do yesterday? Like, what do you think – like, if you think the Patriots aren't going to see similarities between the receiving core of the Chargers and what they were able to do, the receiving core of the Texans and what they were able to do, they're going to do the same exact thing against the Broncos. I would almost guarantee you they are going to pressure the hell out of Jarrett Stidham, make him be a quick decision maker, make him get the ball out quick, and trust that their stud DBs who are playing lights out can do the job and cover those guys. And I think they're going to be able to. I'm not sure what the opening line is for that game. I'm willing to bet it's Patriots minus 4.5. I want to say 5.5, but I'll say 4.5 out of respect for home field advantage. But I think we're kind of on a crash course for a Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl rematch potentially, or a Patriots Rams Super Bowl rematch with those two teams. I wanted to talk a little bit about Jarrett Stidham and his opportunity because prior to Bo Nix's rookie year, right before that season started, when it was declared that Bo Nix would become the starter, Jarrett Stidham said, quote, "I was very disappointed. I know I'm a starting quarterback in this league. I have zero doubts about that." He's going to have a chance to validate that statement and earn himself potentially a lot of money next year. He's going to be a free agent. He's going to be starting a game with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line. He's going to have tens of millions of eyes of the public, and every guy in the NFL is going to be watching that game. Every scout, every GM, unless you're the Bills and you just can't bear to watch it. Like, all eyes will be on him. Other than Fernando Mendoza, there's not a lot of quarterbacks coming out in this draft class that people are very excited about. Malik Willis should make a splash. Mac Jones should have a pretty good market. But Jarrett Stidham all of a sudden has a really, really life-altering opportunity right in front of him. This guy who's picked at the end of the fourth round of 2019, backed up Tom Brady and the Patriots for 3 years. He was a backup for Vegas in 2022, started 2 games, went 1-1, I believe, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. One of those games was week 16 against San Francisco, an overtime loss. He threw for 365 yards. He was the backup the last 3 years in Denver, so he's familiar with Sean Payton, been there with him the entire time. That's got to give Denver fans some sign of confidence. But he has not thrown a pass in the regular season since 2023. He's had a pretty good NFL career in terms of finances. In his 7-year career, he's made almost $26 million, but he has a chance to earn himself twice as much as that. He could earn himself 50 million plus if he has if we just look at range of outcomes, right? Worst case scenario, best case scenario. Worst case scenario, he steps in as a starter on 1 week of preparation and has a bad game, and no one can really fault him for it. And he continues to just make $6 million a year until no team wants him anymore. The best case scenario is they find a way to win this game and he just plays well in the Super Bowl, whether they win or not. Obviously, winning, Jarrett Stidham, Super Bowl champion, that's the best case scenario, right? That's a fairy tale story that not even his wife would have been able to make up before the season started. But if that is the case, he is going to have an opportunity to make himself some insane money, and he has a chance to be the next Nick Foles if it all plays out well. Like, I know Carson Wentz got hurt much earlier in the season than Bo Nix just got hurt, so not exactly parallels there. I know Nick Foles is much more respected than Jarrett Stidham, rightfully so. Like, he's done more at this point in his career than Stidham had 6 years in or whatever, but he has a pretty massive opportunity there. I was going to talk about maybe the Bills fallout and where they go from here, but I think I'll lump all that, what the Bills might do if they fire McDermott, Stefanski, him signing with the Falcons. There's a bunch of other coaching moves happening right now. I haven't really talked much about Harbaugh signing. I think I'll lump everything into one big coaching carousel video. If it's your first time stopping by this channel, I appreciate you. Please drop a sub if you liked it, or drop a like. Really appreciate it. If you are here returning and you're one of my first 1,000 subscribers, I'm at 900 something right now. I really appreciate you, especially. Thank you for being here. Thanks for showing some love. Hope you guys enjoyed watching these games tonight, this weekend. And we only got 3 more left. And it's going to come and go pretty dang quick. So try to keep pumping out some more content. I'll plan to go live next weekend after the championship games and give a little instant reaction. If you got friends who enjoy the NFL and you enjoyed this, share it with them. Help me get my watch hours up. I can't monetize on YouTube until I have 4,000 watch hours, and I have 2,000 right now. So don't know what that looks like if it's like 60 cents a video or whatever, like some TikToks, but just going to keep trying to do my best and pushing out content. So I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a good one. I'll see you later. Deuces.